You're listening to EMA Radio, which is Experience Marketing Association, produced by Sharc Creative and made possible by Phone.com, Pro Creative Marketing Group, Pro Digital, Rivet, Terracom, and the Production Department. EMA advocates ethical and best practice standards in customer experience marketing, empowering its members to deliver excellence across the full spectrum of sound, sight, and sense solutions, nurturing a shared vision of high-quality standards and opportunities for growth. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Andy Hedberg, the owner of the Production Department. He's the current Vendor Relations Chair, and he's also past chairman of Experience Marketing Association, formerly known as On Hold Messaging Association. Andy, great to see you. Great to have you today. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. It's nice to spend a little time with you. And as we get into the conversation today, Andy, first thing, look, you're in the same business, if you will, as me and as many others that are a part of this organization. So some people might say, well, it's crazy. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you communicating with people who, do the same thing that you do? And in a sense, sell the same products and services. But I think that, we'll dive into it. It's not exactly that we're doing the same stuff, but I think it speaks volumes for what this group is all about. And that we are, we're able to share, our resources and truly help one another. Tell our audience, Andy, a little bit about your experience and how you got it started in the message on hold business, in the production business.
Well, it really started way back in college when I was going to school for audio production. And I was charged to do all these small productions to highlight an artist, a musician. And it was at that time that I kind of figured out I had a little bit of knack for delivering a line, doing voice work. So from there, it kind of grew into what can I do audio wise? And at the time I had a partner. We had a small audio production company, and we got into doing message on hold, and then packaged it as a service and figured out that, hey, this is something that we can sell, on a recurring, using the recurring revenue model. And so it really turned out to be the moneymaker of anything we were doing audio-wise. And so we pretty much over time isolated our efforts directly into managed message on hold and audio content services.
So, and how long has that been that you've been doing?
Well, this was back, I did my first audio production for message on hold in 1989 on an old
89
half-inch TX 80-8, a half-inch reel-to-reel machine. And from then it quickly went to cassette tape production, and then of course the WAV files, computers came around and changed everything. And that was back in the mid-90s. The mid-90s is when that happened.
It's amazing.
So it's been close to 30 years.
And technology has certainly changed the business. We've had to sort of acquiesce to all the different changes, but nonetheless, it still exists, right? The
service,
it
sure does.
The service is still there. People still need the service. Andy, how long have you been, look, you've been chairman of what was once the On Hold Messaging Association and now EMA. Clearly, you're very active with the group, and that's how I came to know you. You were one of the first people that I met when we were at the conference last year, and I'm really glad that happened. Give us a little perspective on the group and what benefit you've received from it and how long you've been a member.
Well, I got involved back in 2004, and right away it was evident that it was, as you had mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people that own companies that are competitors. We're doing the same thing. We're chasing down the same customers or the same customer type. But immediately when I've noticed when a new member comes to a conference, they immediately, their guard is down, and the group itself has been a really consistent, good group of people that share, common interests and have the same business war stories and the same same issues, technologically speaking, and production content. It's it's been very interesting watching and spending time and learning from my colleagues, competitors, in a lot of cases, my customers, in the way, where I'm positioned in the business. So it's been a it's been a great run for me. I've really enjoyed the people, and the places that we go every year has been phenomenal. And uh, it's just it's been really it's been a real good thing for me.
Yeah, and I would agree. I mean, I'm short-lived with it. I've only been in for a few years, but met you last year at the conference. Clearly, we won't be able to have the in-person conference this year, which we were prepared to do in a couple of months
Yeah,
from
I
now,
know that's unfortunate.
due to the pandemic, which allows me to, well, we all have to kind of change our businesses in relation to that. How has the pandemic affected your business, Andy? What have you had to do during
Well,
this time?
there has been some, obvious flattening. However, March, when everything really hit the fan and people started shutting down, uh, we had a huge influx of, new message requests, big hospital systems that we hadn't heard from in a long time came out of nowhere and needed immediate messaging. So it turned into, like what we call a fourth quarter, which is real. The holidays are a busy time for us, but it was crazy. So March was a great, big, booming month for my company, and then April and May came along, and it just it leveled way off and just quieted right up. But things are slowly coming back, and the good news is all that content that we created, talking about how companies are shutting down and the way that they're responding to the pandemic. As things open back up, and hopefully soon, God willing, we will different industries will be opening up at higher levels, and all that content will need to change again. So, we're we kind of ride the wave of what is needed and what type of messaging that our customers need and that my clients' customers need to convey to their customers. So,
What do you think about longer term effects that might come out of the whole pandemic?
well, it's obvious that the telephone is being used a lot more. It's the safest way to call and check your pizza company or your car dealership or, a hotel, to find out where they're at. Are they open? Are they in business? How are they handling customers? And, are they offering curbside service? So I guess with that, my point being that the telephone, I think, obviously is being used a lot more, um, to call companies. Businesses are putting those customers on hold. I mean, every time I call to order a pizza, it's, thanks for calling pizza, please hold. And they're just busy, crazy busy. So there are certain industry um, verticals that are really seeing a huge, um, uh, uptick in business because of this. But and with that, I think that there's the respective message on hold, and that telephone messaging in general, along with overhead messaging, to remind people to use caution, wear a mask, social distancing, all that stuff that people need to be reminded of. And certainly myself. I mean, I forget the mask thing. I want to shake hands. I want to I want to move around a store without having to avoid people. I'm a people person. I like to be up close. I like to shake hands, and it's been really tough. But um, I think that we will, the message on hold industry will basically, I think they'll get more street cred. We're going to get more respect just because of the effectiveness of those messages that are targeted um, to that audience.
Well, Andy, I couldn't agree with you more there. Biased or not, certainly, I think the messaging is very important, and I feel the same, the same things that you're feeling from our clients and our client base, that they do, need us even to a greater detail, now that the pandemic has hit us. So, I think that we will eventually get back to some normalcy, but until
I think
then,
so.
we'll embrace the silver linings for our businesses. Andy, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And if there's anything else that you want to, I mean, you have a unique perspective, by the way, with, the Music on Hold industry and the EMA members, because, you've worked with so many of them. Is there anything else you want to leave our audience with in relation to that? As far as your experience with those?
I would say, keep the faith. And I do have an interesting perspective in working with so many different message on hold and marketing companies across the country. Different parts of the country are responding in different ways. And so that's been a good thing for the production department, because what may be real quiet in this area of the country, we're working and we're busy in a different part of the country. But I think when we get past this, probably when a vaccine is nailed down and is working, I think we're going to come back really strong. And so I think we just need to kind of do what we need to do now, and stay safe, stay healthy, and look for better times. Keep the faith, pray a little more, and I think in the end we're gonna come back strong.
Words of wisdom from the owner of the production department, Andy Hedberg, my friend and my cohort here. Pleasure speaking with you. You have been listening to EMA Radio, Experience Marketing Association, which is produced by Sharc Creative and made possible by Phone.com, Pro Creative Marketing Group, Pro Digital, Rivet, Terracom, and the production department. You can find experiencemarketingassociation.org on the web. And for more information, send an email, info@expma.org. Once again, Andy, great speaking with you today. Stay tuned for more spotlights for the Experience Marketing Association EMA talk.